I'll really forward. And I'm doing all which were emailed to us today. Anybody had a chance to look at it? I did. Yes, you were right. Yes, but I did not have a very busy days today.
You laugh.
I was very busy days today.
Yes, I looked at them. And as far as my recollection, I think everything was, yeah, I remember the long ones.
So we didn't approve April's yet, minutes. Apparently. Did I just see here?
I remember that. That was because no one could remember who seconded something.
All I know is it said tabled until next month. I have here. And so we didn't approve April's, so I guess we aren't gonna approve April's. If we couldn't approve it last month, we probably can't approve it this month, right?
Right.
But
I wasn't there on that one.
no,
If that's all it was, you couldn't remember.
I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly why we tabled it, but
No, there was something that Anakin hadn't written down who seconded a motion, and no one remembered who seconded a motion. That was what held it up.
well, I do remember that part. I mean, I remember her saying she did, she
Yeah.
wrote that. I don't know. I don't remember who seconded it.
So do we have to go back and watch the video to find out who seconded it, or can someone just second it now and then it's like done? What's the logistics on that? I don't remember what the item even was. It was just like that was a missing piece in her minutes.
So, well, she could go back and watch the video and just say who seconded it. And
So
just put it
that's what
in,
we'll
right?
assign.
Huh?
Okay.
We'll assign that to her in her absence.
Okay, it looked like it was the financial and the budget report.
That
It was
also was
motioned
tabled.
by Anakin and second. That's the one that wasn't seconded in April.
Okay,
So if that's what she wants to look at.
okay. So back to, are we going to have a motion to approve May minutes?
Yes, I just looked through it. I motioned to it.
Okay, a second on that?
A second.
Right. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer's report. Which there's no treasurer. Did she leave?
She
a-
sent an email earlier.
Chris
today.
sent
Had
the
the
report.
report though.
She said, all I've got was, I won't be there.
Well, she sent an update. I'm not sure she knows like what she's supposed to send as a report. Do you go through that with her? Like, okay, so all she sent was, I can read.
What should happen is the bookkeeper sends the reports, but I don't think he does all the stuff to the bookkeeper. Because she was asking me, trying to link the bank with the QuickBooks,
Okay,
but she kept wanting to calling me, but I don't have access, and I just need to go her
okay.
phone number and all that stuff that she needs.
So that's why there's no report from the bookkeeper like sent yet.
Yes. So that's all she presents, then is the report from.
I see. Okay. So what she sent for whoever didn't see it.
All right, so that we'll have Director Treasurer's report next month.
She mentioned she wanted to have a meeting, financial meeting.
All right. Director,
Well, I think she needs to, can we just,
yep,
I think we definitely need to help her out so that she knows what she's doing as far as being a treasurer, and that, you know, if we need to have a report every month, and if she's not, you know, she has to make sure she's connected with the bookkeeper and get that squared away. And do we ever hear about, because in the last months expecting more, we're getting money out of, do you know if that ever happened?
So I got the check today from VCF
Okay.
and just deposited, and it was like $2,148 or something.
Mhm.
I don't know like how or what happened on Kristen's end, but the check arrived and has been deposited today. So if
There
that's,
was a problem with it, she did with the new system, but that was just a regular transfer, I don't think she did the. When we were gonna we weren't there, the emergency, a little extra, but I don't think we need to at this point, we might as well just leave it.
yeah, it looked like from the paper that was just their general,
Yeah, quarterly.
quarterly payout. All she wrote was, thanks to the donations and the golf tournament, the budget's in the black. And I think it's really important for us to have a follow-up meeting discussing the budget and fundraising going forward, like with that new $10,000 donation. And then also, what we've been saying every month of like figuring out what we want to do with the fundraisers, how they're working and stuff. That was it. That was her whole email, mostly.
Okay, oh. Is somebody going to tell her what she needs to do?
I went over everything with her a couple months ago, and transferred everything over, and I got it all hooked up with the bank, but I don't know what took long, that took a little while to get going,
There were a
Is
lot
she
of
on the account?
holdups with the bank. Like just this week, are we both approved to sign checks? Because apparently all that paperwork we did with the bank, then they were like, no, you still can't sign checks, even though we were on
You
the
can't?
account. That's what they said. Like I had to go fill out another piece of paper to do it. And it was the same for her. Just the bank kept everything was a struggle. So now she went back into that. We can both sign checks, but
Okay.
and I have online access. I would assume she has online access to the bank account now.
yeah, well, not
It
yet,
was-
because she still needs, no, she does have access, she just needs to get Maureen doesn't have the access.
Yeah.
Because what happened is she said, I showed her the spreadsheet that I do with the monthly expenditures, and I label everything out, that thing that I do help with.
Mhm.
And put the budget numbers, and then I send that to Maureen, who puts it all in and sends the report back.
Mhm.
And, but I don't know if because it might be backed up by a couple months. If the bank took that long to get her.
And I think if you want to talk to her about, because you were the treasurer for a long time, right, Jean? Weren't you before
A
Erica?
couple of years maybe. Yeah.
And if like whichever of you is able, I think that would be really helpful. I know also it was like the end of the school year for her, and so that's a particularly challenging time, but now they're done for the year. So it'll be a good
Mhm.
like refresh, right, of whatever the
Yeah.
expectations are. And like
We did sit down and go over each part of it, and
Mhm.
including the building, the paying the town, and all of that stuff, but. Did she do the spreadsheet for me?
yeah, I think that May is, I mean, I did my part, but I think that May is finished.
Okay.
She told me that she went in and put things through it. So,
So I guess the only piece we're missing right now is her connecting with Maureen to make
Yeah.
sure that she can log into the bank.
Mhm.
that Maureen can log into the bank.
Yeah, so she can pull everything over.
We had a verbal conversation where she told me that she talked to Maureen about that and that she
gave
gave
me
Maureen all the
login but I need
information.
her phone number.
Okay, well,
Which I
it's
just heard from Maureen
not
today.
especially, productive to do a third party, but it seems like every new thing it's like a stumbling block at every point, right? So, yeah, maybe it would just be more efficient to go through.
I can do
Yeah,
that, then I
once.
have to, I set up all those new sheets and stuff for it. and
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Hired Maureen, so I can like make sure they're connected and whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if you could do that like sometime this month, so she's like all squared away for
Yeah, for
next month.
next one.
I think that, sometimes it just takes reviewing it a couple of times. I mean, like, yes, you explain everything to her once, but then, it's another month before she has to,
I did tell her to ask me if she had any questions.
yeah.
We also have to remember she's brand new to the board.
Yeah, bring her to the board and then
Right.
like the end of the school year is an insane time. So it's just, I think it was a rough month to
Yeah.
try to figure anything extra out.
So, you clear on that?
Sarah.
You guys got this.
Oh, yeah, so you're gonna.
Yeah, I'll email her.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anything I can do, but I'm not sure that.
Okay. Then. Moving forward. Director's report was. Ready to us.
Mhm.
I'm printing a copy of it right now if anybody wants to date it up right there.
I forgot to read.
But printed two-sided, so there's some on the back. The $10,000 donation has been deposited. I know I said that before, but just so it's officially on the record. And the gift from the Yackle Families Giving Fund has been deposited. I know that was something we had in like the slate for the summer. So that's developments or updates on development. For programs, game night, the donuts were like the biggest hit of the year at game night. It was such a good turnout of teens and kids, and I'm absolutely sure that's the reason that all
How many donuts do you make?
2 dozen.
Yeah.
Good. There was one half of one donut left over, and there were only 20 people who came, so a good ratio of donut to human. Yeah, so that was great, and it was a nice mix of like people who generally come, and then people who have not come before or heard about it from someone. Emily
good.
even came, which
Yeah.
she's been telling everyone for months that she would never come. Sarah's daughter came.
Oh,
So yeah, so that's going well. Cookbook Club, we did not hold a June meeting because so many people were traveling, but we've selected the July book and have had a bunch of people stop in already asking. So that's nice. There's some buzz about that. And the update on the 3D printer, it's working. The software is installed. Yeah, it's really cool. He's like printed out some little test cubes over there. We've got everything on the computer. We've created like a separate email address that's like for printing projects. So he is coming in next week, and we're going to have 2 days where we just try to figure out like some dates and some plan to have like open days, stop by the library for, today from these 3 hours and ask a bunch of questions about it or have him help you show it. And then try to figure out, gauge based on summer interest, like what kind of more formal program does he want to put together for maybe the fall or something like.
Who
Is
is
it-
this doing it?
It's a new volunteer. His name's Elijah. His wife's name is Megan. I don't know anybody's last names. So as far as I know, he's the only Elijah and Rupert. They moved here full time like a few months ago, maybe in January or February. So, and they've been through a lot of the Village Trust stuff too. But yeah, it just was lovely. He was looking to volunteer at the library and happened to come in for the first time the day after we got the printer, maybe the day we got the printer. And was like, oh, do you know that I'm a product designer and specialize in engineering? And I was like, oh, I don't, but would you like this, this new partnership? So that's really exciting. And he's going to train me on it and train Kristen on it. And then we can, figure out like who else can help other patrons facilitate and stuff. And the Cliff programming grant, I got approval to spend on Makerspace themed craft supplies. So some supplies for the printer. I also bought some engineering kits and project books and stuff for more passive programming on the days that there are just volunteers on Saturdays. I'm usually here, but there's a couple of Saturdays I'm not here. So that's really fun for summer. We have a lot of like cool projects that have had a lot of high interest.
Good.
So that's all of the ongoing stuff. And then upcoming flyers went out. The school printed flyers for me, which was so lovely of them because they don't generally do that anymore. But they printed all the summer reading flyers, the book bingo challenge, the camp promo, and the Vin's wildlife, and sent them all out. And I've been talking to Kelly, although I haven't heard from her in the last week or two with the chaos of school, but I want to figure out how many like verbal confirmations she has. We've only had one person register online, but I feel like most people kind of learn about it through the school or come every year. So I have to try to gauge, what we think the numbers on that will be. But Scarlatta's has offered free ice cream tokens to go for, and then we'll do some of the summer reading grant money to do like prize baskets like you guys do at Dorset. So there's like a grand prize raffle, which I'm starting to put together but haven't finished yet. And then Anakin had suggested that, and we talked about it and I went through it. I think it's a great idea that Long Trail does their summer reading list. And they don't have a library at Long Trail. And so they, they send it out to Dorset and Northshire and whatever, what their reading list is. But I purchased like a selection of the whole list is a lot of books. But like 2 or 3 titles for each grade level. And I'll do along with like the summer reading display, like a Long Trail School summer reading, put the BBA list up and put a couple of the books from BBA and then have a sort of cross section of all the different schools.
That's a good idea.
Stuff. And they're great titles, so they'll be great additions to the collection anyway. So yeah, so I'm in the process of putting those displays together, and then I think that might be all the stuff. I'm gonna start putting up all the summer reading promos everywhere now that school's out for the camp and the wildlife program. The only other thing was that the Rupert Village Trust wants to know like who they should talk to about planning the mum sale, basically, because they want to schedule a meeting at some point and just want to know who's going to be in charge of it. So that's just a reminder. Update.
Thank you.
wanna Take that on,
What's that?
the mum sale.
I already started talking to Laura, so I might as well do it, be my last hurrah.
Okay.
You wanna do the mum sale talk?
I talked to
with
Laura
Jane.
and I'll talk to Jane, I know Jane.
Okay. Thank you.
Did we pick, is there a date?
It's September 13th. And they had originally said they wanted to have a planning meeting in June, but since it's already June, I would suspect the meeting will probably be in July. So
Okay.
to be available for that, I'll just tell Judy, tell Jane she can just be in touch with you about
Okay.
the meeting.
So they're doing their
The-
basket raffle?
Their basket raffle.
Mhm.
And they're, I think, also coordinating or trying to coordinate live music and food vendors and stuff. So they want to have the timing of the mum sale basically line up while people are still at all of their events so
Right.
that we all maximize like the
So in the past, we've done pre-sale on the mum sale, which I think has worked out really well because people get what they want.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really good too for them. Hope that in again.
Were there a lot of mums left last year?
Don't
I don't
remember.
I
remember.
think so.
We had people asking at the plant sale too about pre-orders for rose bushes and some other kind of perennial, which are generally fall. Like I think they were probably remembering that had been something we'd done in the fall before. So I think if we're doing pre-orders, I'm not, even if they order them, and if they don't, we're not out the cost of purchasing them, right? So that could be nice to
Right.
add.
Rose bushes?
I guess in the past we've done pre-orders for rose bushes and another perennial.
No, I don't remember that either.
No? Okay, maybe.
Could be.
We had
Right.
like the cabbages and things.
Right.
Did we-
Yeah,
or-
some mums need the cabbages, right?
I have all the invoices from last year, so I can look at that too.
I never remember any pre-orders till we did the first mum sale with pre-orders. But that's since I've been on, but I could be wrong.
No, I think that's the only time we ever did it. But it worked out really well. I think we've done it a couple times for the mum sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Well,
the
maybe
first
she was
time was
remembering a
because
different library sale.
Yeah.
That's confusing them. I don't know.
it really worked out well
Mhm.
Yeah.
that first time. All right. Anything else? Okay. On to whole business. I guess we could announce that the high school scholarship went to Jackson Kitts. And I'm assuming that he was notified, or the school was notified, and the check was sent to somebody.
So the check has not been sent, but the school and Jackson have been notified because Kristen and I became able to sign checks apparently today. So that was supposed to be done last week, but I did notify the school. They said in the future they need to be told who the award winner will be before the end of April in order to be able to do the award at their ceremony. So they couldn't do that at the ceremony, but then I just notified him directly and we'll send the check. So
That's really early.
That is
It
very.
is early.
I don't think they've ever said that before, so it's good to know that, because he's BBA, right? Yeah.
they said by May, so like by the beginning of May.
Jen, I have a quick question about the bank thing. Did they say anything about me having to do anything else? Because originally they told me I had to come in, I'm off the account, because I can't access it anymore, but they,
I didn't talk to them about signing the checks. Kristen did, and she went in and because I was like, I'll just sign it for you, and she said, no, neither of us can sign it. And she brought me all the paperwork, and I just re-signed the thing they said we needed. So now we should all be able to sign checks, and I can get a
but I
check in the mail
don't
this week.
because he told me to come in, it seemed like it did us last time,
Yeah.
so I don't know why I got so.
That's why it's all on a day.
Yeah, in a couple of hours.
Mm.
But because they thought he said I had to come in and sign something to officially remove myself, but I do not have access. It's removed from my Berkshire Bank of Bennington account, because they were both on one.
The sixth grade reading award went to Waylon Bushy and Ryder Terry, both Rupert residents. Anybody's interested?
And who was the second one?
Ryder Terry. It's RYDER.
Mhm.
That's all I have to say, I guess.
Mhm.
Golf tournament. Comments and feedback.
Tournament. So we had ended up having 16 whole sponsors. So I moved that $100 cash that we got at the end, Judy. You know what I'm talking about. I put that towards whole sponsor. So anyway, then it would end up with 16. So whole sponsors, we end up with $1,380 for cash. And players, we had 36 players. And so sending it out with the incentive to sign up early really did seem to help. There were just 3 teams that paid the full price. So that worked out well. I made
You
enough that we
got
should do
more
it again.
players than you would normally get, you're saying?
Not that we normally get, we got them earlier.
But so we made.
They
less
tend to
money.
wait.
I,
So we did end up losing money per person
Yeah.
on it. So I think that next year we should do the incentive for the whole sponsors and maybe do whole sponsors maybe 110, but if you sign up early, it's 100. So that would raise the whole sponsor by $10. That
Yeah.
would be so anyway, we can talk about that next year. The teacup auction, we had a good selection. The guys were very, I don't know why I'm using this here. Had telescope patio set, 4 chairs, tables, and an umbrella. We had 3 Flower Girl bakery pies, which, you know, those cups were overflowing as usual. A snap-on tool that everyone liked, Crooked Barn charcuterie, some 3 packages, a framed photograph from Ryan, a gift certificate from Barrow's House, wine basket with wine glasses from Anakin. Kristen did a cheese box with wine and popcorn and cheese and crackers and Roadrunner gift certificate. And also got a Dorset Maple Reserve, some bottles of that, and then a Bernardo's gift certificate. So the auction made $510.
Much?
510. And then a player came to my house
Oh, really?
and the week after and said, I want to sign up. I haven't got a team yet, but I want to sign up and I'm hoping you have a team with 3. And I wasn't even there. And Dan said, sorry, Kurt, you're a week late. So he gave me $50. He said, well, I want to make a donation. So anyway, so the total income was 5,300. And Jenna did a lot of the printing in-house. So the only thing expense for that was the larger posters from the Dorset Library and then postage for the letters and thank you notes, which I still have some, I haven't finished my thank you notes yet. So you'll get more postage back. So it didn't really cost this whole thing. So anyway, so the net income was $2,826. So can you do deposits too?
yes.
Okay. So that's the deposit.
What was the total?
The net income was 2,826. Okay, yes, I have a report, one for her, and then I've got one for Kristen,
Okay.
and then there's the actual bill from the
Okay, perfect. I'll
country
put
club.
it in here.
So if you can give
And her.
this. Yeah, so the day, you know, the guys got rained on in every hole. Just rained a little bit, just enough to get them wet, but no one complained. And they're all very generous when it comes to doing the raffle and everything. So it was the usual group. So it was good. But the biggest thing again is whole sponsors. I mean, last year after the golf tournament, everyone said, oh, well, we need more whole sponsors. Why aren't we asking these companies and these companies? And I didn't get any feedback. You know, I didn't get ideas from people. I did get 2 more whole sponsors that I approached, so that worked out well, but we did lose
How
a
many
couple
poll
else.
sponsors do we usually have?
Well, it would be nice to have 18, but we've
For
been
each
known
one.
to have more,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
so. At that point, we just put a couple on each hole or whatever.
Yeah.
How many did we have this year total?
16. So,
One, business no longer is in business, which we always got. So you
Yeah.
can't expect that.
Yeah.
And one that we used to get doesn't do it anymore. One that is very generous with donations otherwise, had a team.
oh, yeah, but that's where I put that $100.
Yeah.
I called it
Got
a
it,
sponsor
got it.
because at the end, someone came up and gave us $100 and said, like, actually bought $100 worth of tickets, and we're like, yeah, really? And then he came back up and said, gave us $50 and said, here's a donation. So I think the $100 was the whole sponsorship that he hadn't
Yeah.
done, and the 50.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So at least
But-
we would love 2 more whole sponsors, assuming we keep the 16 we had this year at a minimum going forward.
right, yes,
And some
Yeah.
extras would
Oh,
be
yeah.
even better.
I mean, because that's pure profit.
Yeah.
So that would be really good. So,
And it'd be nice to have the site, the teacup auction items.
earlier,
Yeah, only because then you're kind of going like, I think we have them,
yeah, we should
but they turned
get
out,
those
it turned out nice.
the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had to wait for mine from the company.
Mhm.
But I knew I would get something.
Yeah.
At least I thought.
Telescope did a table and 4 chairs and umbrella. So we talked about, do we do a different raffle? And then we just said no, and so just got a lot of tickets in that.
They get a couple chairs.
Mm.
Oh, no, we're giving you a complete fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very generous.
And so actually, anyone who hasn't, but I guess Kristen would be the only one, because Anakin did her own. Oh, Barrow's House, do you do it?
They're a retired board member. I could thank you.
Okay, well, yeah,
All right.
and then Morgan, is,
I can say thank you.
you can say thank you, yes, so,
I bought the frame.
and Sarah, you can say
Thank
thank
you.
you. No, we'll say
Thank
thank
you.
you. So,
No, Arlene used to write thank you notes.
Yes,
You remember?
Yeah.
I mean, even to us.
yes.
And I said to Jean that day, I said, I'm not doing that. I'll help you write the other thank you notes, but I'm not writing.
Well, I'll say thank you to Jean for organizing the tournament.
Oh.
Thank you.
She did. Yeah.
We don't have
but
to write a
love the
note,
work,
but-
Sure.
yeah, but yeah, next year we can just kind of a last minute thing, because we can talk about it
Yeah.
later, but just get it a little bit easier on both of our ends. So. And Judy was there all day with me, so. She got
Except when
to,
you left.
oh, we didn't have any tickets, so I ran up to
Yeah,
Staples.
we have
tickets.
tickets.
That's so strange.
All right, so you know what? Do you want them in? They're in with the bin that has tablecloths.
That's
Do you
fine.
want them somewhere else?
I mean, wherever you will find them with the golf stuff next
Okay.
year. So maybe with the vases or whatever that you use for the teacup.
Okay,
Jen.
so those are in.
That's
Yeah, I
the
guess
person who
actually the
looks for
tickets should go in that
so-
teacup. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should go in. All right, I'll put it in that.
Yeah. And that's where they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. I guess we're on to bylaws amendment, but Anakin was doing that and she's not here. So again, that will come up again. And that takes old business. Moving on to new business, and that was the future planning discussion where we all had that template that we were all supposed to fill out. And I'm guilty of not doing it. I did look at it and think about it
Same.
2 days ago.
I think it's perfectly fine for us to do it together as a group.
Mhm.
When I said to work on it, I just meant to, think about what you might want to bring to the table. But I think it's best to do it collectively, really.
Mhm.
So, but to bring, think about your ideas and bring it. So I would like to wait until we have everybody here
Mhm.
to do that.
I think
And does anybody need an extra copy? Because I printed out a couple extras. No, everybody else got one.
I got yours. Better know.
No,
My message failed to send to Debbie.
I did look on my Twitter.
I got mine. All right, so that will be, when we have a full board. Is there anything else we want to bring to tonight's meeting?
Oh, I guess if we have time, how are you feeling? I mean,
I'm mostly feeling really good. The last month has been crazy for me for personal reasons. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's that I feel like I run a lot of balls juggling, and also a lot of collaborations with the school that were challenging because they were really all pushed to the very last minute. But we've wrapped up the Cliff Grant, all of those collaborative requirements are over. So yeah, I'm like very excited to transition into summer reading and to just like be in the library a little bit more. I feel like it's great to have the flexibility to do a lot of the admin stuff from home, but it like I really like being in the space more to also have a handle on things. So yeah, so I'm excited for summer. And I think the programming is also kind of hitting its stride, which is nice. So I think it'll be fun to kind of take on Cookbook Club as the next recurring thing, and then let everything kind of balance again before some other new thing is introduced.
so as far as I know you had needed permission for the kids to take out cars. Did that all get squared away?
So it did, but not in the way that we had initially hoped it would. So there have been challenges on the school's end with getting the kids signed on to Sora, where there's a step that has to be done by the school librarian to give them access to Sora that they were not able to do before the end of the school year. So we pivoted and just sent home instructions and a permission slip for them to just get a library card. They can access, it's all the same books. It's just that Sora is the app that's set up for kids and for school usage. And it's and like kids can navigate it on their own. Libby still requires a parent to help navigate and it's just a different thing. So I have to check back in with Brooke and see if anybody had sent it back in the last week of school. It went out, I think, the 2 weeks before the end of the year, 3 weeks before the end of the year. I don't know how many kids returned slips to her. However, the good update on that is that they had a sit-down meeting with the tech coordinator or whatever for school, and they are resetting everybody's email accounts and everything this summer with the intention of having everybody have access to Sora when school restarts in September. So we'll relaunch it again in the first month of the school year, and I'll tie it in with like a reading incentive, whatever. There's a bunch of welcome back to school library holiday things in September, October. And then hopefully like, anybody who doesn't have access already can do it that way. And that way kids can access it on their own without also needing parents to kind of help them get the books anyway, right? Because I think that like kids whose parents go through all those hoops are the same kids whose parents take them to the library to get their books out, right? It's really what you want it to be for the kids who aren't getting taken to the library all the time. So yes and no. But I think it's hopeful that we'll make some progress on that in the fall. And then we got great like input and feedback for summer reading. So I'm hoping we'll get some signups for that stuff and the bingo challenges.
So the bingo challenges is like read.
Yeah, it's like a bingo sheet of different either books to read or like take a board game out of the library, attend a library program, watch a movie based on a book. And if you get 5 in a row, you get a free ice cream token, which means you can get up to 12 free ice creams just for filling out your bingo sheet. And then if you do a blackout for the whole card, you can put a raffle ticket in for, I'm going to do like 2 or 3 prize baskets, a bunch of stuff. And depending how many kids put in tickets, we can always do more. But I think
this is great.
Took all of them.
I know when our kids were young, they Mother Myrick's did a
yeah, they
challenge.
Still do it. Yeah,
they still do it.
Yeah, they still do it.
Yeah, and my kids were like, "Mom, we gotta go. Come on." So.
Yeah, I think
That's good,
something that's
yeah.
like not, a lot of libraries also are like counting minutes or counting books or counting pages. So I wanted to do something that's just like very low commitment and just fun. Right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what we did, cause it's like not fair to kids that aren't like easy readers.
Yeah.
To do it the other way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of studies showing that like that actually disincentivizes reading, right? Having to make a list, having to like count the minutes, having to even the Mother Mercs challenge, my kids sat down and it's 12 books total to do all the things. And so they were like picked the 12 shortest books they could find in their room. Inside of 2 hours, they both read all 12 of the books, and then they were like, we're ready to collect our
Yeah.
like, it's fine. My kids read, so it's
Right.
not, but right, you want it to just be like
And yeah.
a motivation to
Right.
engage, right? Not so yeah, I'm really excited to partner with Scarlatta's too. So
Mhm.
I love
Yeah,
that
that's
there's
cool.
an option for like a non-franchised
Mhm.
business to do it.
I wish Long Trail would do like this instead of the 1,000-page reading challenge,
Yeah.
because I do think it has that effect on a lot
Yeah.
of kids,
Yeah.
even high school kids.
Theirs is,
So
they have to read 1,000 pages.
And they earn like attendance at an ice cream party or something, but they have to like list out the books that come up to 1,000 pages, which is also
Oh, the book has to have 1,000 pages?
well, they have to
Oh,
read
cool.
cumulative, yeah.
Okay.
Like
Oh, well, that's not that.
no,
but
but
for some kids it is
Yeah,
though,
well,
you
yeah.
know, if they're not a big
Well, yeah,
reader,
you
that's
read
a
all the
lot.
time. So.
yeah. Right, because if you're a big reader, you're going to read 1,000 pages anyway, right?
Right.
It's like, how do you reach the kids that maybe
Right.
will come to the library 5 times because they can build a Lego set and they can take out a movie and they can, do and
Because like to me, okay, if you're listening to an audiobook, shouldn't that be comparable? Like you're getting the same information and
Mhm.
maybe a different way, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, so we'll see. I'm doing registration for it and we'll see, try to get a sense by the end of the summer what the participation's like and
Did your kids pick up any of our stuff yesterday?
yeah. We do summer reading at all the libraries. We game the system on summer reading prizes.
You get ice cream everywhere.
We have a corkboard the size of my whole wall that has like every ice cream everywhere, prize raffles everywhere.
We give
Yeah.
my stewards for consolation prizes if you didn't want in the basket. But
Yeah.
participated, you get an ice cream.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then how about programs? But we don't have an artist now. Do we have any artists lined up or?
So the next,
Baba?
so Kelly is going to do art with the kids in July for summer reading. And Steven said her preference is to to have the walls empty to be able to hang up all the stuff that kids are doing. So I think as of right now, my plan is to just keep their summer reading program artwork up for August. And then we have an artist coming in September.
Mhm.
Joanna, I can't remember her last name, Hart maybe, who lives in Salem, who's a fiber artist and also does like coffee mugs and pottery and stuff. And a parent, she has 2 kids at Salem. Yeah, so that'll be nice. And then I have another artist tentatively lined up, hopefully for November. So hopefully that will get us through they're lined up, but I'm just hoping the timing will work for them to come November,
Mhm.
December. Yeah, the Long Trail art was so fantastic, but it had to come down before the last day of Long Trail. So like a little bit of a gap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put to cover that kind of blankness of the wall. I'll put like the summer reading lists and stuff around, and maybe I'm trying to figure out if there's like a kind of standing shelf I can put to get kind of 2 layers of height until we get more artwork on the wall, without like tacking lists on the wall, but just kind of fill the space a little bit. Some displays.
The other thing that has to be done is that plaque
Mhm.
has to have his name.
Jackson's name added to it. Yeah, I have that on my list for this month. Speaking of artists though, I think that that's one of the areas that I've struggled with the most is trying to, like the time that it takes to like locate artists, try to, talk to them. Like if we just had a large stream of artists who were interested in displaying their work, it would be easy to just kind of manage it. But that time and effort of like trying to figure it out and coordinate it's hard to work into all the other stuff that I should be doing. So if that's something that like as a board or like people know of anybody or just everybody kind of constantly has feelers out too, it would be really helpful to just
I had the same problem because you don't have artists that kind of bossy and mean to me at times. And I don't have time for this. We started doing instead of every month, we do every 2 months.
Yeah.
But now it's Ryan can handle the old things.
We just don't like, we don't have the foot traffic here that Dorset has, and we
Oh.
don't have,
I mean, people stopped buying stuff years ago, cause there's only so much, so many paintings of mountains and Dorset and whatever, but I try to mix in some new things and then people are like, what is this? But, we kind of talked about just discontinuing it, cause we really don't, we have like 2 artists that might sell pretty good chunks of
Yeah.
stuff, but it's
So
And-
it's not getting any benefit from
no, we used to,
the
but
amount of
after
time to put
started,
in.
yeah.
People aren't making money.
We thought it was good thing to me, like cool, the permanent art around.
Oh,
But the board wants to keep doing it for community meetings. We don't do receptions or anything anymore. If you want to do when you book your own stuff in. It's perfect.
I think I'm
but the
enough.
fiber art, I wonder if that would be like a talk.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see what she's interested in doing, and
She could do a talk maybe like her first day, as opposed to having like
yeah,
just a meet the artist. I mean, actually have a talk and then people can meet the artist. But I think that would be kind of cool. Like bringing people that be interested to,
yeah,
like, how do you do this?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Dan drove by and said, there was a sign out front and he said, what is fiber art? So.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. I'll see if she wants to do a program or a talk or something to go with it, and
Yeah.
what kind of stuff she wants to display, because she does all kinds of things. And I think that I can definitely work with all of the schools more and try, like, if every year we know this time of month that this grade is going to do it, then we have fewer periods of time, and maybe we could have 2 or 3 artists each year that we try to schedule in,
Mhm.
instead of it being like 6 artists for 2 months each, or 12 artists, which is just insane to think that the
Right.
time it would take to make that happen. But yeah, I think that would be more manageable, and then we also have more time to try to put feelers out for that.
Mhm.
And then we can prioritize like local people and stuff too. So, but yes, artists are, famously
Yeah,
temperamental and artistic, but also,
we had to write a whole letter or have them sign a contract letter, because I had one that's been a 4-time, the 4th time it's coming up. She like takes all the books off the shelves, she wants to put it there, and she starts hammering nails. I'm like, come on, beauty. And she's real mean if you didn't let her hammer away.
so I've had lovely encounters with everyone I've spoken to, but the challenge of like scheduling something far in advance and being organized about it is not an easy thing to
That's
to get.
to me, it's the handling them.
Yeah.
Personalities.
They
you
think
deal
they're
with.
like some famous artist from Paris or.
Anything else?
Would we ever want to do like a like a fall photo challenge? And because I mean, Carrie does be like, there's so many
Yeah.
who just take beautiful pictures, and even if they were willing to, we maybe wouldn't have to invest some money in buying some frames, but not expensive ones. But if people were willing to submit some of their photos they've taken of Rupert, because there's some, I mean, Emmy's taken some awesome pictures, and Carrie's, I see them all the time on Instagram or
Yeah.
Facebook, just, local
Well, that's a thought.
photography. Get some, it would fill some space.
Yeah, doing like
Like
a
to see their
theme
own.
call instead of like a solo artist call. Yeah, to say like we're doing
Right.
this theme and who can. It just takes some planning. Like you have to, if you plan it in advance. But yeah, I think and then like getting more people from the community. Or in a meeting a while ago, we talked about like alternate fundraising ideas. Like, do we have people like submit or donate their pictures of whatever theme, and then there's some kind of like silent auction for whatever. There like some both versions of that idea. I think that's nice to. I think the pressure of trying to be like, I'm this one artist and I'm putting together this show, like it's a lot to find, but it's also a lot for people to fit into their life, especially people like Carrie, who are like have an actual job and then are doing art on the side and then are trying to. So I think the themed call idea. Not
Good idea.
Dorset Mountains. We won't.
Yeah, just different ages and viewpoints. I think would be kind of interesting to see what different people are. Yeah. But,
Right.
yeah.
You trying to get us out of here?
No, I feel like there's a lull.
I wrote on the report, but I didn't say, this is nothing to what we're just talking about, but July's game night, we're coordinating with the Village Trust for their root beer float party that they do every summer. So it'll be like outdoor yard games and root beer floats on Friday, and then Sunday is cookbook club. So it'll be like a whole root beer outdoor weekend.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
when's that? What are the dates on that?
July 13th is the Sunday of cookbook club. So the 11th would be the Friday root beer float and yard game party. And those are all games that we have in circulation too. So that'll be
Right.
nice to like have them out and have people playing them and stuff.
Mhm.
August game night is the first Friday of the carnival. And I talked with John, who like does the Rupert Trust side of that event, and Kristen, and we all kind of strongly think we should not host anything, and we
Right.
should just say like, meet us at the carnival and we'll all play games together, and like just so we're planning to go to the carnival that night anyway. So there won't be an August game night. There may or may not be a cookbook club depending on all the hosts and when their schedules fall. But we will probably just do that a different weekend. But yeah, so July will be like a big one, and then September.
So we can ask a mom questions. Just so
Go
I
ahead.
have an idea what we're having. Are we using Laura? She said she could do them, so are we just leaving Laura again for the moms?
We like the ones.
Or she has local moms.
Should
Should
we
be-
check
oh, yeah.
around prices? I mean, because it's.
Well, I think the problem we ran into if they're doing that was transportation, but some of them didn't. Last year there was another place that didn't deliver. And they were away like an hour and away.
What
or
if
something.
Diane Kent would do? Well, she has the
Who?
Van Rippers in Granville.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that because they start in January, and they start gearing up for the summer, and then they close down before the 4th of July. At the end of June, I think they are done. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe they wouldn't want to get started again for moms. I don't know. I could ask though.
And then do we all, my other question I was thinking of is, do we want to book the firehouse just in case? Or do we want to do the tent?
With how this spring has gone so far, it's like a good idea.
I don't know who to call there. You have to call them. Like I used to call them. But
You
remember that
want
one
me to?
time, I kept trying to call whoever it was, and she kept ignoring me. I
Kelly.
think that 440 number through her for.
Kelly Jo.
She never called me back, and I think you kind of got a hold of her.
I did through Kelly, the other Kelly. She said. All right, so
We
do
could
we,
book it just in case, and then kind of cancel it if we don't need it, like a couple days before, depending on the weather.
what do you guys think?
There's a lot more parking down there. So
Mhm.
it might be worth it if you have a lot of people to have that
Okay.
space.
So that,
For the mum sale for the firehouse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It just is going to be hard to get the foot traffic back and forth from the
That's true.
Village Trust.
That's true.
And especially if
Oh,
they're
yeah,
doing like
because it's
music
together.
and
Yeah. that's
food
not bad.
vendors and stuff.
Then I think it's probably best to do the tents no matter what.
So actually, Dan mentioned it, but I wasn't around when they have a big tent. So that wasn't an option for the plant sale, was to borrow their big tent.
Or the Village Trust
Yeah.
or the firehouse.
No, the Village Trust.
It's like in the ground. It's
Yeah.
those like cement
Right.
posts. I mean, I guess we could have asked to put the stuff under. It was the day of the ukulele show. No, that was the next
Yeah.
weekend.
But there was something going, it was just the breakfast, the
The coffee hour, just
coffee
coffee hour.
hour, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of people over there.
I mean, I would be happy to ask if we, like, normally for the plant sale, if that was an option. I don't know though, like, we can talk about it at the planning meeting, right? What's the backup plan for rain? Because if they also have all this stuff and it's also raining, I don't know what the priority of usage
Well,
would be.
their stuff is the basket party inside.
But they also want to have like music and food vendors. So I don't know where, like,
Yeah, they need space to do their stuff.
they're building all the stuff on the town green now though, and I don't know what
Yeah.
the time frame is for that either, because they're supposed to have like a pagoda, like a pavilion there. And has anybody been to those planning meetings? You were at the planning meeting? I haven't been either. So it would be good to know, what if you're going to be at the planning meeting with the Village Trust, like what's the rain plan, and have a high in motivation for us to have it be coordinated too. So I think whatever spaces are available, we can.
Well, I mean, I think you know where the tent, where their stakes are. I mean, that's where the tent would be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are other things.
I thought the tent for the plants, because it wasn't like a huge downpour. Like if it was any heavier than that or windy, might have been a problem, but I thought it looked nice too, with all the plants lined up in there, and
Mhm.
October isn't generally windy, and
not until Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, in the pre-sale ones,
for September.
like we could actually have, I mean, they kind of put away anyway.
Yeah.
When we did
Right.
the firehouse before. You know, we had these tables set up here and these are for sale and the pre-sales were in the back.
Yeah.
I guess it might determine how many pre-sales we get too. I mean, if we get a lot of pre-sales. might not have
So
taken-
we're ditching the firehouse idea.
I mean, it's worth asking
know.
if it's available, right? Like,
Yeah.
might as well just find out if it's available.
You know what, I guess we can always cancel it, right? So why don't we try and lock it in and
And that's September, right?
September 13th.
I don't know if I have that. Better write it again.
So we can book the firehouse and then just let the Rupert Valley Trust that Rupert,
Is there a deposit though you have to pay to book it? Because if we can, I was just saying if like we book it and then cancel and they turn somebody else away that was gonna pay. I'm just, is
Right,
that their
yeah.
policy?
yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't think we've ever put a deposit
Okay.
down.
No, I don't think we ever
Okay.
do. I think we just do donations after we use it. So. And then, but talk to them at the meeting and say, you know,
Or do we have to pay insurance?
Say that again?
Then we had to pay like for when we did the marionettes, we had to pay like
No, I
$100
haven't
or
paid
something,
anything.
no?
No,
Okay,
we gave a donation
Yeah,
at the
give a
end of the
donation.
year for the times we used the firehouse. Because we used to use it for the marionettes and we always used it for the book sale.
mhm,
And we just gave them a donation,
right.
I believe.
I haven't done that with the treasurer.
No.
No, 'cause I didn't know about that. That's news to me.
Well, we used to do it.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so we'll make a donation to the firehouse, then we'll write a note on the bottom.
Sorry, so I gotta do that.
I mean, that'd be terrible, because if they park down the streets and around anyways, if you have to carry your mums back and forth. They could always just like stop there on the way or on the way out, or if they wanna wander down and blow it right into their car.
I think it would be better to do it here if we can.
I do too,
Mhm.
if we want it all. Like,
Yeah, I think ideally the weather is nice and we do it here. And then at the planning meeting with the village trust, we should find out what's the plan for if it's hurricane rain. Like they've got to have their own plan too, because they make everybody stay outside for the rest. You go in for a little while, but
Right.
you wait outside. I mean, so there,
Right.
we all need a rain plan, and then we can make decisions once we know what that is going to be. Hopefully we used all of our rain for the year.
yeah, probably shouldn't have that much rain.
are we gonna do the pies for the mums too?
Yes,
Yeah. Mhm.
yes. And that would be I mean, I think that we should, not just us, I think we need to be like calling people and asking people to make pies. And we used to have a list, I don't know where that ever went, but I mean, if like if all
Yeah.
of us
Friends of the
do
library.
too, right?
Well, there were a
And then-
lot of pies. So last year I did this prank stuff. I remember like every time somebody used to put something down, it's like, well, I want that, and then somebody grab it, and then somebody pull up and drop more. But it was like
Yeah.
a constant. It wasn't a whole
Mhm.
lot at once, but there were people like all the whole time dropping
Last
stuff.
time,
off.
yeah.
The last year.
It's okay if no one knows this off the top of their head, but it would be great to know like what is the like ideal number of pies that we would like to have donated, so we have a sense of like, do we want 50 pies, do we want 100 pies, like what's the, and then we can see how many people we want to secure stuff from. I know that's what they do for the firehouse. They just, Kelly Lewis sends a postcard that says, deliver your cake on this day.
Right,
And then
yeah.
people do it, right? I mean, like
Mhm.
it helps to really just right, know that, and people like look forward to the pie and the mum sale. I think it would be
Right,
an
yes,
easy
I
thing to
think
get people
definitely
to
they
really donate for.
Like pies,
Yeah,
yeah.
if we're just really coordinated about it, like you're saying. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, whoever has worked it before and has a sense of numbers, just maybe like before the next meeting, tell us like what's our pie goal?
Hard to tell. I don't think we ever counted them because, as you said, they come in
And they
and then they go before anyone, like, no one ever checks them in. They just say, oh, go put them on the table.
Right.
Thank you. And so,
And there was all,
It'd
it
be
was
nice
just
to-
pies too, it was all kinds of stuff last
Yeah.
year.
yeah,
I know because you delivered a beautiful cake and I told my kids we could get pies and then they were like, we have to. I was like, no, no, I did not say triple frosted chocolate cake. So I vividly remember the pie table.
so do we want to try and get a list? I mean, if everyone can kind of come up with some names.
Yeah.
Of people, like if everyone can ask 5 people. And then there's the normals.
Well, I'll look
I
on the
don't
computer
think
and see if there's a list that I can find from old documents and then,
It's probably a list, but you'll probably find a lot of people no longer with us.
Do you
I
think that
can-
like one of the village trust coffee hours, if we put a sign up sheet, people would be
That's a very
willing
good
to like
idea.
sign up for pies?
Really good idea.
Most of the people I know are here. So,
Well, and there are people that I
Okay,
know
right.
drop pies up for that every
Right.
year, right? Like
Yeah.
when they
Yes.
make pie, like so we can start with the people we know will always do it and then
Right.
we can check in and verify they're doing it. We can put a sign up sheet out in
Yeah.
August. When would we do it for mid-September?
I feel like August is
August.
probably reasonable because before that, people might forget, but.
Yeah.
Right, they'll forget that they
And,
signed.
and
up
they're
for
already
the
getting their
Yeah.
postcard
Yeah.
about the Rupert Old Home Day.
Yeah,
in
yeah, we have to
August.
wait till after the
There you
whole
go,
parade.
right.
Okay, so pies out and sheet out after carnival.
Right.
And then, but we can like secure
Solicit people,
people's,
yeah.
you know, agreements privately also, and then we can put the pie sign up sheet out there.
I'll ask Tom to mention it at the Methodist church, like an announcement, somebody
Oh.
willing to donate pies, makers, and maybe Carrie could ask her to pass it. I don't, is it Stephen? I'm not familiar with the
Steve is the
Sure.
pastor there, and I'm sure he would be happy to do that. I went to Easter service there actually because my girlfriend is congregationalist, and he was so lovely and also so
Yeah, it's very
excited
nice.
to
Yeah.
have people from the library there and like do whatever possible with the library. So I'm sure that he would happily promote that ahead of time. So I can talk to Steve and you'll talk to Tommy.
Mhm.
Who's the minister at the Methodist Church in West Rupert?
Mike McKeegan, the stone church on the corner.
Mhm.
Yep, that's Mike McKeegan. He's on Facebook. I could message him.
Okay.
And ask if he would mention that in church.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of cakes for them. I'm sure they'd be.
Okay.
Want to mention that?
So this is kind of like a fundraising, you know, I mean, I feel like we actually have time to actually talk about this instead of just like going through other stuff, so. Which is good. I feel like we need to come up with ideas and. But. Programs and things like that, so.
Yeah, I like the idea that we had when we were brainstorming a month ago or whatever about doing some kind of like bingo or trivia or with the Village Trust space maybe and having that be a fundraiser.
Mm.
So I think yeah, I'm playing with like what can we puzzle competition like some kind of thing that
Still
would
waiting for that.
yeah. It's on the list, but it got bumped way to the bottom with all the other stuff that's been going, like the day-to-day stuff for the library. So
Yeah.
Trivial Pursuit, if you, I mean, not Trivial Pursuit, but trivia night. I mean, everyone loves trivia nights wherever they are.
Yeah.
They're fun. I don't participate, but I like
I wonder if we could do like I wonder if we could do a kids trivia night. I mean, it would take parents at that level to, because I don't remember what kids know at what level, but
Yeah, but you'd have to,
No.
somebody have to get all the questions.
right, yeah.
That's the job in itself.
And if
I
you
would
get a
think.
few parents together, that could, like, that might be a,
You could even do like a theme, like a Harry Potter trivia night, which
oh, there you go.
kids and parents would both know, potentially,
Mm-hmm,
something
That's a
like
good
that,
idea.
maybe.
yeah.
Halloween time, like Halloween trivia, and that could be equal opportunities, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, we have some
Yeah.
time because like this is the wrong season for indoor fundraising and activity steps, right? So as we get into like the October,
Winter time,
yeah,
yeah.
November and on is like a good time for any of that kind of more indoor stuff. So some time to think about ideas of like after we do the marionette show until the plant sale is pretty dead time in terms of
Mhm.
we could if there was something in like February, late January to early March-ish, right? That time when people get a little restless. I think that would be a good time of year to do something like that. It has to be late enough after the holidays that you've had time to get bored of being alone. So maybe
Yeah.
February.
Mhm.
Cabin fever trivia.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I used to go to one the end of January. They stopped doing it. I just went for fun.
You
And
go,
we sat there and, see with a group of us, how would we answer this? But it was fun.
yeah.
I was in a team one time, because they needed members. I could answer the math questions.
I was just
Judy,
gonna say
they're-
they do like
great.
mathletes, but they do instead of like trivia, it's like logic puzzles and like more of like a puzzling trivia kind of thing, right? Instead of and so that's an idea too. That's more like any age. I mean, not like little ones, but it's kind of trivia can be very like generation specific depending on
Right.
what you're doing, but yeah. Some ideas.
The Harry Potter one's really good.
That'd be
idea.
it's
Yeah.
useful for the library,
Exactly.
being like a book.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Many ages.
Maybe like fantasy reading trivia or something
Yeah.
like that, so that you can get it across the different.
Lord of the Rings, my husband would be.
Yeah.
You'd be winning everything.
Wizard trivia can do for any of them. Dinosaur trivia for the really little kids, because they all know all the dinosaurs.
And why is that? That always amazed me that they always knew,
Because of
all these long names.
I still know all.
Huh?
I
You did?
still know, not all, I mean, not everything, but I still
Mhm.
can identify
Then
many
you can-
dinosaurs.
Or summer reading next summer is next year is got a dinosaur theme, so that'll be good to do it in the
Did they already announce it next year's theme?
Pardon?
They already announced next year's summer reading
Yeah.
theme?
I don't remember what the phrase is, but it's about
Yeah.
dinosaurs basically.
Okay.
Which we're excited about.
So maybe after the summer reading program, before school, so maybe like in August, do a dinosaur. I mean, after they've already kind of done it. I don't know.
Well, it'd be cool if they were doing, I don't know, Halloween's always a fun time to do some kind of
Yes.
game,
Mhm.
trivia parties, something like that. If the Village Trust was gonna do anything and we could coordinate, and I mean, last year, Zipper did the haunted hayride, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe add a little more to it.
I remember
We
you
did
were saying
something.
last year that you wanted to try to coordinate the hay rides with the spooky stories and
Yeah.
stuff, and that would be good
Yeah,
to
because if people
think
are
about
coming for
too.
that, then they can
Yeah.
come a little earlier and do the
Yeah.
stories.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We could do a costume contest with that too.
the
Literary
spooky stories?
Costumes, yeah, literary costumes, stories.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Brian has some great ideas about how to like beef that up a little bit too. I think I was thinking of like offering that people could read their story. So like have a few people that we know wanted to read, but so it's not just like you and Steven doing all the reading, right? But like
Mm.
and then if kids wanted to come up and read a short, like just say like it has to be, I don't know, 4 minutes or less or something, and share your favorite spooky story and have a bunch there and see if that generated some interest. So many people like to just hear themselves talk and like be, like so sometimes that there's, there's people who are like, I would never want to do that. And then there's the people who are like, absolutely, let me be. But yeah, costumes, like just make that more of like a big, like if we're gonna have it, we should like have it be a thing.
Yeah.
This year,
Right.
Halloween falls on a Friday, which means to do it before Halloween, it has to be like a full week
Weekend,
before
right.
Halloween.
But just so you guys know, October 18th, we're planning like a huge family fall festival
Okay,
with bouncy houses and stuff. Probably like
that's 2
after
weeks before
evening.
Halloween, though, right? October
It's
18th.
like a weekend. Yeah, almost 2 weeks. We booked it so we could start film. One of our
Where are
board
you gonna do
members,
that?
our ex-board members wants to do a.
With dark bouncy houses?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna have?
in our building.
Oh, you got a big enough backyard?
Yeah, I think so, hopefully. I'll find.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna try to, we always do the kids Halloween party that day, but we're trying to turn it into just not just another Halloween party, but something, old fashioned games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think like there are a ton. I mean, like it's actually an insane amount of like family and kid activities the weeks around Halloween, but like nobody else that I know of does like spooky stories in the cemetery or like a night event. So I think like as the center of it, and then what do we build out around it? Because it's just another Halloween party, but like everyone's exhausted by those.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but just logistically to figure out what day, I was trying to look back to see like when does Stephen normally hold it, but it's normally a Friday night and Halloween is the Friday night. So that means we can kind of hold it there's no particular reason to have it the Friday before versus like some other
School's
time
closed on Friday,
on
do
Halloween.
Thursday night.
Is it closed on Halloween? Oh, then we should totally do
It's a
Thursday.
teacher, it's, I just put all of the dates for 2025, 26 on my calendar, so I can keep my stuff together.
Morgan's like, I don't know
Oh.
why I didn't write the
No,
calendar.
it's because it's teacher
Conference or
conference
something.
day,
There's always one in October.
yeah, and it
So
happens
that
to
would be
be.
kind of cool.
Yeah, that would
Do
be
it the
great on the
night.
30th.
And that's nice because it's right there, right before Halloween.
Yeah.
They
and-
should have their costumes all figured out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then they get 2 days where they get to wear their costumes and then we get to.
Yeah.
To rest.
Pack it away.
Okay, so I will plan to hold it that day. I'll double check that there's nothing else like major going on anywhere that it would conflict with. And then fun. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Ryan's brain about that a little bit. If anybody else has as we get closer, I'm talking about now, but ideas, I'd love to beef that up a little. We kind of have like we do our egg hunt, we do the summer reading program, we do plus the fundraisers, but we do the spooky stories and we do the marionette thing. Those seem to be like the yearly programming things that
Right.
everybody is looking for. And I'm trying to build in around summer reading too, like the big capstone celebration at the end, the wildlife Stephen did
Yes.
last year too, but the timing was just unfortunate because it was the Girls on the Run weekend for last year. But yeah, just like make those. We know there are already things people look forward to, so and add something in February. That's like the missing.
Sounds good. So what's everyone doing before our next meeting?
Everybody's gonna think about the planning.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm doing a couple things.
And we'll plan on doing,
Okay.
talk that out. Do we find the mission statement?
Oh yes, I meant to send that to everybody. Here, I'll read it. That was.
Oh, you might
totally-
want to just send it to, because I won't remember it when I'm looking at this paper.
Okay, yeah, I'll email it to
Next
everybody.
month. Yeah.
And yeah,
You don't have to do it the second.
no, it's okay. I will just put a note on my desk so the next time I come in here to see it right on top of my.
Did we ever revisit, and we talked about it, like ever doing t-shirts or something? But I was just thinking about Old Home Day. And is that something we'd ever think about again, is doing like a t-shirt for the library
library?
and selling them, just having them on
So
hand throughout the year? And
I think really early on, before the last set of t-shirts, I had a T-shirt that had sponsors on the back. So like Hand Chevrolet and, different businesses paid to have their businesses on the back of the T-shirts. So that would help to pay for, I mean, that's a thought. But yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I think we should. We should
I think,
come up with the,
I know when Grace worked at the
Design.
store, people were always asking if they had like Sherman store t-shirts.
right.
And
And my kids are asking, yeah, come on, don't you, how come we don't have any Rupert T-shirts?
yeah,
So-
they used to.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just think there's
Someone
something
could-
that we could get in a shelf stable product that we could sell at different, the mom sale
Events.
or
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything. That
Mhm.
may be cool, and maybe asking people to submit design. I don't know, just thoughts for fundraising.
Ryan has designed a whole bunch of vintage inspired library shirts. Like,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, like I don't know, it's a clown reading a book or something. I forget. There were a bunch of them, but I don't know if that's for Dorset or if that's just something Ryan did.
The one that I just saw post float play was for Dorset.
So we can't steal
I
that. So
didn't know that was happening.
okay, so
I just like all of a sudden it's up by my head.
yeah, I thought it was just like Ryan's obsessed with libraries right now, and so decided to design a T-shirt.
Oh, so is that what you guys are doing T-shirts too?
No, this is Ryan doing, well, we are doing t-shirts too, but Ryan is, this is a different thing.
Okay.
That Ryan just did on their own.
Would he be interested in
Maybe you can ask.
submitting some?
So we could have one that's for
Designs.
Rupert and different ones for Dorset, and then people have library T-shirt collection.
Yeah.
I would love library
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Yeah, the key is like if we want a t-shirt that's gonna sell, it's like what's the brand? Like which Ryan is amazing and all of that, right? But like what's like kind of the tone and the I don't think just like a blue t-shirt that says like Rupert
No.
Village Community,
Yeah.
like maybe you'd but like right.
Oh, the last T-shirts, actually, now that I remember, it's like an open book.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's turquoise,
Yes,
With
and it just says
bright yellow
RKKL
or
Library.
something.
Yeah.
or your local library.
And
It's just general.
So that's something that has also gotten totally dropped is the name.
But
Right,
We never heard from Katay.
as far as I know.
And no one has any connection to
But we could specialize.
follow them up. I mean, because that was something that,
Can ask your friend who comes in to tell you there's minutes aren't up yet. He's,
Oh.
well, he's dead though, isn't he? Paul Katay.
Oh, I was like, well, not the man who comes in to ask me about the minutes, so.
Can't even think of his name.
Peter?
Peter Casson.
Peter.
How do
Yeah.
you forget that?
You all knew exactly.
so.
Does that mean I need to finish the minutes like today? I'll get back to you.
I mean, no, but like less than a month would be ideal. Perhaps.
It's supposed to be up 5 days after, 3 days
Legally, yeah,
after.
it's 5 days.
Something I can't.
Hopefully my minutes are not
Policeman,
terrible. I'll do my
policeman
best.
Peter will be. I know. You know what? I don't know. Said we're all stupid, so he deserves it. So.
Anyway.
What are the naming rights for the library going for if someone else were interested in changing the name to something else? Are we auctioning off the naming rights?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how that. Yeah, that was before us. I have no idea.
I think you have to look at what the wording is in the
Right.
original.
Donation,
So
gift or something, whatever.
What's it?
I just saw the
They were
letter.
donating so much money and
Yeah.
Like the letters
Are
in
they-
Kristen's,
Folder?
Doesn't have
the box. Where I found it when I was going through stuff. I said, oh, look, here's the letter from,
All right, so I'll make a note for
Okay.
to check that because that's not here.
I
right
just
now.
remember it said that they were, how, they laid out how much they were gonna give us for all of the
Mhm.
community.
Yeah,
Which hasn't
it's
been
supposed to be
happening.
in as well. Oh, it hasn't happened for many years.
All right, so
Well, and another thing, I mean, we still could also. This is totally off this is now getting into raising money, but I mean, Hatches and Katay's Nicodemus, Beekners, I mean, they
Yeah,
used
we
to always
had
do.
a conversation about them with our endowment guy,
Mhm.
and we think that,
So are we done with our meeting?
Yeah, because
All
it's a
All
different.
right, then,
Right.
there's thank you notes to go out.
I have to finish mine for the golf tournament, yes.
Do I
I
have to
haven't
write
done mine
anything
either.
down for the golf? Like you're doing all the ones for the golf tournament?
Yeah.
Sponsors.
I do the
okay.
sponsors and the teams, the team prizes.
Okay, then the next meeting will be July 21st, I believe. So a motion to adjourn,
I will.
second on that,
I will.
all right.
Wait, so
Yeah.
I was writing something else and not paying attention.